Joe is an absolute national treasure.
He is the standard of integrity and humor and love of this state.
He is engaged with everybody, making everybody smile, making someone else feel good before he makes himself feel good.
For the past 5 decades, Denver native Joe Blake has put his stamp on the business and educational community like few others.
We're in Park Hill now, and I grew up right down the street.
Joe is such a passionate alum of Denver East.
Joe attended Dartmouth and continued on to law school here in Denver.
CU. Joe is, with the exception of my oldest daughter, my favorite CU alum.
Before beginning his career in law, Joe took a slight detour.
I'm going to do something really unusual. I'm going to go down and join the FBI. Mr. Hoover was the director at the time.
And the joke is that he arrested Al Capone. Joe doesn't know who Al Capone is.
Got married in Washington, D.C. My wife, Elizabeth, was working for Strom Thurmond.
Joe returned to Denver and worked in the General Assembly, then migrated into practicing law. The couple went back to Washington and had 2 children.
The turmoil, the uncertainty was amazing. And then came back here to work for the regional office of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And that's how I really got started, my interest in housing.
Joe was part of the senior management team in the creation of Highlands Ranch, which is now home to nearly 100,000 residents.
I started out at Highlands Ranch when there was nothing out there but antelope and a lot of expectation and hopes and dreams.
He was the guy who was working behind the scenes with the governments and the infrastructure costs and the infrastructure development.
Well, the most obvious of Joe's accomplishments is his remarkable career at the Chamber of Commerce.
He worked very hard on creating a regional environment.
That led to opportunities to pass fast tracks. That whole effort, the T-Rex effort, came about working together. I think one of the things, though, that was the most fun, the most challenging, was the passage of Referendum C.
He was very strategic, he was very smart, and it goes to show you why and how this guy's been so successful over his lifetime, because I think he put it all on display.
And it was more fun than anybody should ever be allowed to have.
So after he left the chamber, he was hired by CSU to be their chancellor.
No one could imagine a better ambassador for the brand and more connected across the Denver metropolitan area than Joe.
There's a common strand between all of his careers that he's had. It has been about public service.
He was one of those leaders that helped bring Major League Baseball to Colorado.
Joe is a real history buff, and no matter where you go with Joe, there's a story.
However, with a caveat, when Joe is speaking and he says, period, next paragraph, settle back in your seat because you're going to hear about the whole book.
We have a group of us that were called the Nats, nearly almost traditional, and we traveled for the last 8 years all around western United States and visited every fort, every battlefield, every historical anything.
I love this city. I love this opportunity that I have had over this precious lifetime.
He is just, without question, the most beautiful human being I've ever met.